afternoon. We are here at the 2025 Singlife Nations Cup for another thrilling day of competition. I'm Tamara Weatherburn, and joining me in commentary today, former Singapore player Parveen Nair. Welcome, Parv. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tamara. Nice to be commentating with you today.
And of course, opening day, we saw over 1,800 fans come out to support the 6 teams here at OCBC Arena. We've experienced 6 fantastic games of netball with another 3 to come. Up first, we will see Malaysia take on Singapore A at 5 p.m. local time. Isle of Man will take on Papua New Guinea. The final game of the day, and hotly anticipated, we will see at 7 p.m. Kenya taking on Singapore. Parv, excited to see anyone today?
Yes, I hope all 3 matches are going to be close. I believe the teams have gone into, they've understood how the tournament is going. They've gotten their connections. The coaches will roughly know what combinations are working best for their team. So I think the score lines between the teams as they face each other are just going to get closer and closer as we go on.
Absolutely, and we'll listen in as the teams are called onto the court.
At wing defense, captain Noor Shafaza Liana. At goal defense, Adila Jasmine. At goalkeeper, Nuriz Shazlin. Their substitutes, Noor Izarin Aizi, Ashwini Kalitas, Fariza Muhammad Fauzi, Lesharani Jiwa, as well as Fatin Najiha Rahmat, who sustained an injury yesterday. On behalf of the Nations Cup family, we wish you a speedy recovery. Team Malaysia's head coach, Chokun Lee, assistant coach, Amina Azari, team manager, Zainon Mohammad Noor, and physiotherapist, Faiza Mohammad Jais. That is your team, Malaysia. And now it's time for Team Singapore A. At goal, shooter, co-captain, Priscilla Wong. At goal attack, Zulfa Rashad. At wing attack, Janine Ang. At center, Lee Suen. At wing defense, co-captain, Mickey Ng. At goal defense, Faith Maria Lawrence. At goalkeeper, Sindhu Nair. And their substitutes, Sheikha Al-Junaid, Charlotte Lee, Matilda Narayan, Uzma Rashad, and Naiya Sanders. The head coach for Singapore A, Yomi Hong. Assistant coach, Kokman Wai. Team manager, Vicky Wu. And physiotherapist, Noor Hafiza. That is your team, Singapore A. And now to the match officials. Our umpires for today's match are Adrian Abrahams and Iranga Sitara, with reserve umpire Tim Marshall. And so the stage is set. It's time for the ladies to walk over and exchange pre-match pleasantries. Because once the formalities are over, the fun can begin. Match number 1 of match day 3 at the Singlife Nations Cup 2025. Team Malaysia looking for their first win of this year's edition. And Team Singapore A looking to build on yesterday's win. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's play netball.
And we're moments away from starting. The match umpires will deliver the ball. We'll see the countdown, and we'll be underway. And Malaysia are off with the first centre pass, of course ranked 28th in the world. Singapore off to a really good start in this tournament. 1 win, 1 loss. Malaysia still chasing their first win. Nice and loud in the stadium today. Lots of fans out to support the Singapore A side. Of course, donning the red dress today. Pav, what can we expect from this first quarter?
I think it's going to be a tightly contested first quarter. Both teams are going to suss out how each other play, though the Malaysian team roughly know how the Singapore style is, and so does the Singapore team know how the Malaysian style is. We play roughly similar in terms of like short, sharp movements, ball speed down the court. So I think it's just about who's going to be most consistent, who makes the least mistakes, who capitalizes on their turnovers to bring it to goal.
A great analysis of what we can expect to see in this first game. And of course, we'll look at those scores from the first 2 days of competition. Malaysia, a very close loss in round 1 to PNG, 56-53. Kenya, last year's champions, in round 2, a loss of 62-47. And we see Singapore A get 2 goals on the board, a strong start to this first quarter.
And the goalkeeper for Singapore A, Sindhu Nair, she's been a rather experienced player. She's been in the main Singapore team side, and usually I call her the assassinator against the goal shooters of Malaysia. She takes them on really well. Yeah, so I think with her experience, she's going to turn over a lot of balls for the Singapore A team.
Absolutely, we can expect a lot from this Singapore A defensive side, and a little tumble from Lee Shen through the middle, but she's back up and running. Malaysia, quick hands, but well, not to be. Contact call. Adrian Abrahams in the umpire role today. An A-badged umpire from South Africa, all the way here to join us for the Nations Cup. 2 apiece, scores are even. Now, something we've come to expect from the Malaysia side in this Nations Cup is efficient, effective movement. You, of course, have come up against the Malaysia side many times in your netball career.
Yeah.
What do you think will be effective for the Malaysian side today?
I think what they do really well is they play on one side of the court with their really great timing on attack. So I think what Singapore needs to do is really to disrupt that flow, like to stop them from trying to play on one side of the court or getting that middle channel run, really pushing them wide and high and making it hard for them to just execute it down the court. Yeah.
Disruption is the name of the game for this defensive unit for Singapore A. Malaysia, opportunity here to push out into the lead, setting the penalty. Some good movement from the midcourt, a little bit stagnant from the shooters at the moment.
Yeah, I think the switches between Sindhu and Faith are pretty timely. Like they're getting on the front of the Malaysian shooters pretty well, and what I would say is the timing of it to get in front. So the mid-court players of the Malaysian team are a little bit hesitant in delivering the ball in.
And it's a battle for that front position in the circle, and Malaysia almost spoiling Sing A's centre pass. They'll collect the ball and take the throw in. The drums are back. The crowd is excited to see the home side live in action. Patient through the middle of the court. Zulfa popping up the middle but not used. She's been fantastic for Sing A.
Yeah, she is. She's a really reliable shooter, and you can count on her on putting in the shots.
Fantastic across both goal attack and goal shooter, but we see Priscilla Wong, co-captain, get the nod in the goal shooter bib today. Charlotte Lee, another shooter for Singapore A, has injected beautifully into both games.
Yes, you're right, Tamara. She's been great. Like, her impact on court has been noticed the past 2 games.
What a luxury to have, to be able to roll so many changes and have impact in the game. Of course, a week-long tournament, you are relying on the depth in your team. How important is it that all 12 players are able to play their role in a competition like the Nations Cup?
Yeah, I think it's really good that to ensure that your bench players are just as good as the main 7 that take the court, because I think with a long tournament like that, day in, day out, we're playing games, the intensity is high, you know, you're going to get fatigued. So to get your bench players coming on to provide the same intensity and to make sure consistency is there throughout is super crucial.
And head coach for Sing-A, Mi Hong, so experienced, previous player, last year's 2024 Singapore Coach of the Year. She has shown how formidable her bench can be, utilising those rotations. As we see Zulfa go to post. The penalty is called. She'll get another attempt here. Drops in. A beautiful shooting action. And her teammates love it. Centre pass here. Malaysia doing a good job of taking up that middle area of the court. But Sing-A able to find a way through. Quick kick in and out from Wong. Long shot. Obstruction call. She'll get another opportunity. As we wait to set the penalty. Organiser Sithara, the umpire on the closest side of the court to us. Another A-badge umpire from Sri Lanka. We have had access to some fantastic umpires across this Nations Cup. Oh, and the steal forcing they are off and running. Quick transition down court. Give and go. Oh, and beautiful movement. Zulfa able to find the post. Jenny Ung in wing attack. Bit of a playmaker for Sing-A. Now you, of course, in your time playing wing defense, your job was to shut down these speedy wing attacks. What's something we need to see from the Malaysian wing defense, Shafaz, that she can do to start breaking down this connection and link that Jenny is providing in Sing-A?
I think firstly, if let's say Janine gets the ball in the centre pass, I think that hands-over pressure is really crucial. So she doesn't do her pass and cut so easily. So really, hands-over pressure, once she releases the ball, picking her up so she doesn't hit circle edge so easily. Yeah, and I think stopping that drive to the top of the circle is going to make the shooters of Singapore try and come out, and that makes them trying to pass around a lot more, which gives Malaysia the opportunity to try and get the ball back.
And of course, right on the circle edge, prime real estate feeding position. A little knock there. We'll take the contact call. Malaysia 4-8, Singapore away. Just under 7 to go in the first quarter.
Could see Faith Lawrence, the goal defender Singapore, just touching her face. I think she got knocked in the...
A little knock.
Yeah.
She's tough. All a part of the Nations Cup. The resilience, the determination we are seeing from these athletes. Singapore A bench up, they loved it. The drop, the long pass. Shooters taking a moment to congratulate each other on the work. A fantastic shooting combination. Long pass over, beautiful high release.
Yeah, that pass was really nice, on point. It turned the shooter around, so Sindhu was caught on the wrong side of the shooter.
Siti Matara has been great for Malaysia in that goal shooter position today. Reset ball, just giving the shooters a little bit extra time to get set. Very clever from Janine. Fakes high. And a beautiful finish from Wong as she turns cool, calm and collected.
I would have to say Priscilla has a rather good start today as compared to the past 2 days. I think she's a little bit more calm. She knows exactly what the game plan is. You can see her really executing, taking control when she has the ball in hand.
And so important for all players on court, I mean the whole team really, but of course the 7 on court, to be united in understanding the strategy that they're trying to apply for this specific game. Malaysia coming up with the ball here. Tote our viewers through what a typical day might look like at a tournament like this? What sort of work do the teams do behind the scenes to prepare for a big match?
I think we do a lot of game analysis from past games that were played against the same team. Yeah, maybe there might be changes in the team as throughout the different editions of the Nations Cup, but roughly we know certain countries play a certain style, so there's always a different game plan on attack and defense to counter these teams. So game analysis, just talking within your departments, yeah, everybody just make sure you get your nutrition in, rest well, recover well. Yeah, I think that's most important.
And we've had a little tumble in the pocket. And Siti Mashara able to convert that one for her side. Umpire just calling for a wiping of the court, making sure our players are safe out there. And you may have heard before the game, Fatin Najiha, unfortunately going down in the game yesterday, has now been ruled out with an injury. Not what you want to see so early in the Nations Cup. And of course, on behalf of everyone here, we're sending well wishes for a speedy recovery. Singapore, big cross-court ball. Bit of off-line defense we're seeing here from Malaysia. They move back onto the body. Looking high. Oh, and she's not quite able to keep it in this time. Throw in. The drums are beating.
I feel like the drummers are like right just beside us, but no, they're actually completely opposite.
They're on the other side of the stadium, but they feel they're right here. The atmosphere, the crowd here at OCBC over the first 2 and now 3 days of competition has been so exciting. As a player, did you feed off the crowd or did you block it out? What was your style?
I think when you're playing on home ground, you really take that whole atmosphere in. It brings you a lot of confidence, support, encouragement to keep going. You know, when you're tired on court, that's that additional support that you need all the time. But I think it's very different if you're playing on non-home ground, and then you get such a really wild and rowdy crowd. You really just have to block it out.
And Singapore A with the ball, connecting to Wong. She turns and shoots. So reliable down there in that goal shooter position. Scores though, 11-all. Malaysia doing a mountain of work to bring that margin back. What have we seen from the Malaysians that they've done so well in these last few minutes to just creep that scoreline back in and now take the lead?
I think towards the end of this first quarter, I think I see their connections a little bit better. So I think their first phase, second phase in terms of who's going, I think a little bit more efficient in that. So they're hitting circle edge faster than they did in the first half of the quarter. I think the first half Singapore defense actually dominated in that area where they really kept them high. They required to pass it around a lot more before they hit circle edge. And I think the goal shooter, Siti Mashara, she's presenting a lot better now. She's taking that front hole, that front space.
And they can be so dangerous, the Malaysian team, when they are efficient with those drives down in attack. Back to even. Oh, and the beautiful tip from Zulfa. Faith, teammate in goal defense, able to collect that tip. Let's see if Sing A can convert to take the lead. Just under a minute and a half here to go in the first quarter. Long swing ball. Balances, looks to connect with Wong. Contact ball comes. Well within range. She'll look to convert that. Oh, and an unusual miss from Wong. Malaysia streaming down court. Oh, a little bit scrappy through the middle there, but Singapore looking to settle. They'll need some composure in this last minute. Both teams will want to finish on top.
Yeah, 48 seconds is quite a bit of time actually. So we see that rushed pass from Zulfa to Priscilla. I thought she could have just calmed down, played the clock a little bit more, try and secure this goal.
Both teams working hard here, 30 seconds to go. They will want to finish this First quarter up, going into the break. No doubt both teams going to their bench, having the opportunity to have a chat about what has happened in these first 15 minutes. And Malaysia, 13-12. But Singapore A with the centre pass. Let's see what they can do. Oh, 7 seconds off to go long. And in this case, it's paid off because the contact call comes. The siren goes, but they were able to take this shot. And she sinks it. Zulfa, cool, calm and collected to finish the first quarter. We see Malaysia taking on Singapore A. The scores are 13-all for this first quarter. What an exciting first game we have had. What can you expect at this halftime break? What do we think the coaches will be talking to their players about?
I think more of like in crucial moments of the game, how you really take care of the ball when you have possession in hand. Like in that instance, decision making. So maybe with ball in hand and you have about 40 seconds left on the clock, should you just play it around, and then when the clock comes down to that final 10 seconds, that is when you try and bring it in to score, instead of like making undecisive decisions in terms of like certain placement of ball which actually could have been done better, or in terms of the final execution of the pass, or running through with your drives and taking it all the way. Yeah, so I think it's just correcting on the small little bits or 1%ers that both teams actually can come back better in the second quarter.
And of course, head coach Chu Kon Lee from Malaysia will be looking for some more composure from the Malaysian side. However, they did an excellent job to bring that margin back in the first quarter. And Pav, we have a game on our hands now. How exciting for this first game. The Nations Cup. We'll be back after this break. And welcome back to the second quarter. Singapore A taking on Malaysia, and Pav, we have absolutely got a game on our hands. Scores are even. As we just take a look down at courts for any changes. The team's looking fairly consistent. And as we spoke about just before the break, we'll be looking to see a little bit more composure in those big moments from both sides. Big swing ball there, finding Zulfa. Oh, beautiful entry into the circle. Long shot, beautiful technique.
Zulfa has an unorthodox way of shooting. She just uses her arms.
Yeah, no knee bend, right?
Yes. But it's so accurate, so it worked.
Through the middle. Bounce pass, connects into the pocket. Fakes, step around, obstruction call comes. A quick release, very smart. And another goal on the board for Team Malaysia. Lee through the middle, getting them underway with the centre pass. The drums are back on. Singapore A showing some patience down there. I think so effective when they use the ball speed around the circle. Just can't quite collect that one. The ball goes over the goal line. Long outlet ball. Quick connection. Quick give and go. Steps in. And it just rolls out, but able to land that second attempt. Siti Masira, so good. And we're looking long, straight in. Step in, balance, and another finish. There's that efficient movement we've seen from Malaysia throughout this tournament. We know they can score quickly. These two sides, though, matching up so well in this opening game of day 3. Zulfa, ball in hand, connects with Lee. Drives onto circle edge, taking on the defender. So quick on that first step. Triangle. Zulfa. Another one to her stats. 12 to go. Malaysia up by 2. Long again on the safe hands.
It's a good try there by Faith. She read that really well, but just couldn't get there in time for that intercept.
She has a tough job today. Siti Masai doing a great job back in goal shooter. Kick in and out, Zulfa. Beautiful finish. The follow through on that shot.
I noticed the Malaysian circle defenders are falling back a lot on Priscilla, so giving Zulfa a lot of that front space to just take charge in the circle.
Allowing her to work that front space. Such an effective partnership. Naya with the ball, driving down through the goal third. Quick hands. Zulfa again, beautiful entry through the top of the circle. Wong keeping both defenders busy.
It's a nice give and go between Janine and Zulfa. I think it was a couple of give and goes between them from the center all the way to the top of the circle.
Absolutely. We love a give and go up here in the commentary box. Resets. Defenders doing a lot of work to bring the ball down into the attack end. Balances. Mid-courts working well together to find that prime position on circle edge. Zulfa again. She's taking charge. As you said, Wong receiving a lot of defense attention. That double team, though, not effective at the moment because Zulfa is able to just run that front space. But what is effective is that long ball the Malaysian team are using. They are able to score so quickly. Do you think we'll see a change-up in defensive strategy from Singapore A?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit more pressure on the outside because I think whoever's receiving the center pass, whether it's a goal attempt or the wing attack, they're just looking in straight away. There's no hands-over pressure. So I think the wing defense of centers really need to stop that. So I suspect there'll be a change in the defensive end of the Singapore A team.
You've heard it here from Pav, a very experienced former Singapore netball player, also coaches now. So for any young netballers listening in, oh, beautiful tip from Faith, doesn't quite come up with it. But for any young netballers listening in, take note because Pav has some hot netball tips for you.
I'll try my best.
And we were speaking in the break, 42 caps to your name, so impressive. But of course, having to balance being a full-time athlete whilst also working and studying for the majority of these Singapore players. What does it take to balance all those commitments?
I think it's just a lot of discipline sacrifices behind the scenes, missing out a lot of family, friends time. But you know, at the end of the day, it's all worth it because you're going to work hard, you want to represent your country, and you know you can only do it for a couple of years, right? You can only do it in your youth because up to a certain age, you probably can play netball.
Takes a bit of toll on the body, doesn't it?
So I think at that point in time, I think it's rewarding, and it's worth the sacrifice.
And as we see Shazleen in goalkeeper, just saving that ball before over the goal line, but Singapore A able to come up and under the post. And we talk about the sacrifice it can sometimes take to play for your country, but so worth it and so special. Few changes rolling in here.
So we see Naya coming in on wing defense, replacing Nikki Ng.
And we thought a change might come. And of course, Charlotte enters the court into goal shooter. Priscilla Wong just getting a bit stuck there in that double team. Let's see what Charlotte can do with the goal shooter bib on. So we see both our co-captains go to the bench. Some fresh legs in. Just looking around to see who has the on-court captain armband, and Faith does. For those at home, international rules require a captain to be identified. For the Nations Cup, it is using that white armband. So as we can see for the Malaysian side, Shafaz with that honour.
Singapore E team just finding it a little bit difficult to penetrate down from their defensive end.
Malaysia doing a good work at maybe an offline defense we can see through the middle, almost a zone. And for those who might not be aware of what a zone is, talk us through what a zone is and what its purpose is.
So basically it's defenders just setting up into space, not really going onto the body, but just making it look crowded and messy. So it prevents the attackers, it gives the illusion to the attackers that, oh, there's no space to run through. Yeah. So, but I think to counter the zone, you really need just someone to just punch through the middle, just pull in those defenders, and someone will open up on the other channel.
That's it. Punching through the middle, opening up the channel, or of course jumping on the body, taking away that offline defense. And Malaysia so strong, 21-20. We thought they were going to be close games today, and the first game has not disappointed.
The Singapore-Malaysia rivalry will always be there.
We'd love to see it. And of course, that rivalry continues from the Nations Cup to SEA Games later this year. Lee, immediate effect with her introduction into this game.
So Zulfa and Charlotte just came off the World Youth campaign, so they played a lot together in that tournament. So that chemistry, the communication, knowing how each other play is right there. I think you can see it in their connections in the circle.
And strong pathways coming through Singapore. We can see in the talented youth that are in the Singapore A side.
No goal.
No goal. Singapore A are off, streaming down court. Faith backing up. Bounce pass and connecting with Wong. She's been able to work through this defensive unit. And another change.
We have Mickey Ng back on wing defense, so Nia just moving to the bench.
I wonder if the change, also about just having a quick conversation between coach and Mickey, just to set some expectations about what she wants to see out there. Drive long and finding circle edge. Oh, but Faith nearly coming up with the ball. Just over 4 minutes to go. And we have a pressure cooker game here at OCBC Stadium. No doubt you've experienced lots of tight games in your time. Tell us about what goes through your mind in these close games.
I think it's really about composure and sticking to your game plan. Trusting and belief. When everyone's on the same page, we just do what we have to do despite the crunch moments where you feel the pressure, you know that everything's on the line, but just trust that everyone's going to back the game plan up and just execute it.
Oh, and the step on. We were talking about composure, maybe not seen in that play just gone, but plenty more opportunities. We, of course, have 30 more minutes after this quarter. Lee receiving some attention there. She'll take the penalty pass. Just goes over. Zulfa able to come up with the rebound. And Singapore A will take the centre pass. They are out by 1, looking to make it 2 here. Oh, and beautifully read from Adalia Jasmine. Fake. Steadies for the shot. Good hands over from Naya. But Malaysia able to finish to bring it back to even. And with the center pass. Lee not sure about that contact call. But important to get on with the job, particularly these close games. Mid-range shot doesn't drop, but unable to keep the rebound in. So important to have that rebound positioning set as soon as the shot is released. We'll have a throw in here. Defenders working hard to confuse space, but they are able to find Dianaha. Lee with the center pass. The drums have not let up, just under 2 to go. Stepping around.
Singapore A really patient with the ball.
That's what we've wanted to see from them, and important going into this final minutes of the game. They need to find that balance between being composed, retaining possession, but also scoring. As we see them take the score back to level. They'll want to get a stop here. Malaysia, of course, wanting to retain possession, perhaps work the clock a little bit. Minute 10, a long time though to hold possession. They'll look to score. And chosen to swing, perhaps just a little off put from Faith, defending on the shot. Contact call. 50 seconds to go.
It's a really nice, strong front hold there by Siti Maisara. I think just putting Sindhu off position and really just putting that ball in.
She's had a great tournament, great start to this game. Singapore A working it down to circle edge, resetting, giving the shooters opportunity to get set. Zulfa popping out. Contact call. Lee will take the penalty pass. Zulfa rolling out to open up for Charlotte. Beautiful shooter rotation. Looks long. The crowd love it. 10 seconds to go. Will they go into the next break even? Time held. And Malaysia unable to keep this in a pass. It will be the way of Singapore A going into the second half. What a thrilling game of netball we have. 25 all going into the break. Who's impressed you early?
I think for the Malaysian team is definitely Siti Maisara. Actually, both shooters, in fact. The goal attack and the goal shooter. So goal attack being Nur Diana. So I think when the Singapore A defenders are really doubling on Maisara, I think Nur Diana is really taking ownership and sinking in all those crucial shots in that moment. Because normally we see Siti Maisara just taking most of the shots for the Malaysian team. But so what Singapore A is doing is trying to shut her down and trying to get Nur Diana to take on that job. And I think she's really relishing that moment and putting in those shots whenever she has ball in hand. For the Singapore A side, I would say it's quite a hard pick there because I feel like they're all doing their part. I would say Zulfa because I think she's the most consistent, and I feel whenever she's ball in hand, I think she's been quite safe. She's been choosing the right options, and I think when you need her to sing in those shots, I think she's really taking ownership of that.
And adapted well to the two shooting combinations that have been put out on court in game 2. We've seen strong shooting combinations down at both ends for both teams, sharing the load, and we will be back right after this break. And welcome back. Malaysia versus Singapore A. Pav, how great has this first half of netball been?
It's been really, really good. I expected this tight tussle from the beginning of the game. And we can see it from the scoreline, 25-all at halftime. So really, it's anyone's game. I believe the coaches have stuck to the same combinations, except maybe Malaysia with a couple of changes.
Few changes will come to you with those shortly. Singapore A, though, staying consistent as we see the shooting percentage up on the screen. So Malaysia 83.3%, Singapore A 80.6%. Both teams shooting in the 80s. What does that mean for this second half? What do we need to see from the defenders?
Yeah, I think really just pushing them far and wide away from the post, making the shooters attempt from far, not making the accuracy remain high, just making them take the shots in an uncomfortable positions. And I think it requires the whole unit, not just the circle defenders, but the whole team effort to really just make this happen.
Absolutely, a full team effort we will need to see as Malaysia with the ball. And those changes for you now, we can see Fawiza coming into goal attack at just 19 years of age, made her international debut this tournament. Aisha through the middle in centre, and Diana into the wing attack position.
So I think she started as goal attack in the first half, and now she's moved out to wing attack.
So impressive to see players playing across court areas. And you've done a little bit of that yourself, playing across wing defense and then goal defense in the local competition.
Yeah,
how do you go transitioning between court areas?
I think for goal defense, transitioning to wing defense, not that big of a difference because it's still more of a defensive position. But I think it's when I had to try taking on center. I think that was the biggest change for me because firstly, your fitness has to be there. You are like the engine of the team. You have to run up and down. You have to be consistent on both attack and defense. And also learning how to feed my shooters because, you know, as defenders, your job is just to bring down the ball till the transverse line. And then you don't really do that feeding role.
Your job's done.
Yeah, correct. That's right. So as a center, being able to see the spaces for my shooters, taking on that feeding role, and then also learning when to come in as an attacker, you know. Yeah, and then reading the game and then trying to fit into the play, yeah. So that was the biggest challenge for me.
Definitely, and of course the change in direction down court. In attack, goal defense, wing defense, you're more bringing the ball through court in transition, whereas your centers having to drive up the court, making sure you're linking in on that transition play. And as you said, feeding the shooters, such an important skill from our mid-courts. And of course, Diana into the wing attack role, able to play shooter. Do you think it's advantage then knowing how shooters move with her feeding?
Yes, definitely. I think when you can slide across wing attack, goal attack, I think you know as a shooter what kind of angles or what kind of feeds the shooters would want and expect. Yep. So I think with that added advantage, you know how to deliver the ball in and maybe even sighting that option in much earlier from the outside.
And we had a long connection link with Charlotte Lee coming out of the circle just before. She's now posting up. Strong hold in her position. Little tumble, straight back up. Zulfa, so strong, so consistent. And you're right, no movement in the legs on that shot. But hey, if it works.
It worked.
No point changing it now.
If I'm not wrong, like there was like a reel, like a compilation of Zulfa shooting that the World Netball did when she was playing in the World Youth campaign, and then it was quite funny reading the comments because everyone was like, "How did she do that? How did she shoot? How did she shoot with just her arms?"
That's it, and particularly when you can still sink them from range. Sure, it's always a question for coaches with young shooters. How much do you look to change a technique knowing that you'll probably see a decline in accuracy before it goes back up? In this case, Zulfa so strong down there. Will keep the no bend technique.
Yeah, I think honestly, like you said, if it works, it works. And
If it works, it works.
yeah, I mean, if it works in the international level, then why do you even need to change it, right?
Such an impressive youngster playing at the Youth World Cup. And of course, sister also in the team.
Yeah, Uzma.
Uzma, who we haven't seen her on court just yet this game, but has had some strong appearances across this competition.
Actually, she doesn't play mid-court in the local league back in NSL. She usually plays circle defender, goal defense, goalkeeper. So I think this time for the Singapore A team, we see her switching out to playing center. I think also because the team, half the team is made up of defenders. So I think just to get herself a little bit more opportunity on court, I think it's good that she tries out something different.
And I think we've just seen a switch for Singapore A between wing attack centre.
Yeah, I think that switch was really good in the game against Alaman yesterday. I think when Coach Mi Hong actually made that switch between Li Xuan and Janine, I thought it opened up the play a little bit more with Janine taking on less of the drives and Li Xuan just taking control, running into the pockets hard. I think it opened up the space. So I think maybe Coach Mi Hong is looking for that same effectiveness.
And effective in both combination. Some slightly fresher legs perhaps as well through the centre roll, just providing a different dynamic to both of those mid-court positions. 8.5 to go. We are still locked at just 1 the difference. Singapore A in the lead at the moment. And a beautiful feed in, that shooter-to-shooter pass, so effective. Fawiza has been good when she's come on across these 3 games. Singapore A with the centre pass. At the transverse line. Janine on circle edge. Strong hands from Lee, but will reset the penalty in the safe hands of Zulfa. Another goal for Singapore A. Long ball, beautiful take, stepping onto circle edge. Some quick movement here from the Malaysian team. Shooters, movement, splitting the defensive pressure there. Turns, release. Great hands from Faith Lawrence. Showing some patience as they transition down court, looking long. Centering back up, give and go. Faith, ball in hand. And we can see that offline defense again from the Malaysia team. Very effective from them this match. The punch through though from Zulfa. No shooter in. Zulfa with the ball. Finding circle edge. Little fake top of circle. Dressing the post. And beautiful finish.
I really like the combination of Charlotte and Zulfa because I think they really complement each other's spaces. Like when Zulfa clears, Charlotte really has that nice pop up through the middle, and then you can see Zulfa opening up on the baseline at the same time.
That classic shooter rotation, movement and creating space for each other. Oh, well done. That was a beautiful save, but unable to retain possession. It's into the hands of Malaysia. Centering up through the middle, looking long. 2 options under the post. Defenders for Singapore A just chasing in this instance. Malaysia with the centre pass. We're seeing a bit of a wall defense here from Singapore A. Talk us through what a wall is and perhaps what the purpose of a wall defense is at centre pass.
I think it's just trying to force your attackers wide. You don't want them receiving or having a direct movement to the ball, especially trying to get them to stay off the middle channel. And then also by forcing them wide, that is also going to make it hard for the next phase because when you force them wide, and then you can just pick up the players right after that, and usually also it gets your wing attack and goal attack to really rush down and try and stop that ball as well.
Plenty of defensive strategies we're seeing from both sides. The use of the one-on-one defense with the switch up to offline with the wall-ups we've just seen, or a bit of a full court zone from Malaysia. Great balance from Lee, able to gather the rebound. 33-34, the way of Singapore. Gee, neither team letting up in this third quarter, in the championship quarter. Great pressure from Naya on the shot defense. Malaysia, they'll take the throw in.
You see Fawiza just a little bit shaky with her shots and just wanting to pass it off to Siti Maisara quite a bit. But I think she needs to give herself a little bit more confidence, just be sure that her shooting is just as good and just really just take on the shots.
Yes, we spoke about the combination in the first half, perhaps sharing that shooting load a little bit. And a change here for Singapore A.
We have Aljunied Sheikha coming on as goalkeeper. If I'm not wrong, she hasn't really had much of court time. I don't think she took the court yesterday against Aloman. I think the entire bench at her actually got that opportunity. So seeing Coach Mi Hong entrusting her with the job today, it's quite enlightening.
She gets the nod with the goalkeeper bib to see what she can do to break up this shooting combination. Of course, the excellent work of Siti Maisara.
So Aljunied Sheikha is also a pretty young defender. I see her playing in recent years in the Netball Super League. She plays for the club Lab 10 together with Charlotte as well as Janine. Yep. So she's one of their main defenders. Yeah, she primarily plays goalkeeper, goal defense, and I think what she's known for is being able to take on holding shooters or even coming up for nice intercepts outside the circle. So we're hoping to see that.
Absolutely, we love a hunting goalkeeper at just 22 years of age. The impact of playing on a holding shooter is so important in this matchup. Stepping in. Just listening here as the ball is advanced in. Persistent contact, yep. And they're able to capitalize on that. Clear communication from the umpires, setting expectations. Players then able to adjust. Pav, how important is it as a player, and of course as a wing defense, your job would have been to be a bit of a pest out on court, but how important is it to adjust to the umpires?
Yeah, it's really important. I think because you want to get into the eye of the umpire, you don't want to keep committing the same mistakes, because I think that's when if you keep doing what you're doing and you're not adjusting, then really you're just putting yourself out of play. And then with the one defender out of play, I think the whole unit just breaks down. So I think it's very crucial to just adjust. You know, if it means giving a little bit more on 3 feet hands over or staying off the body, I think that's one good thing about what a player should have, adaptability, and that is also adjusting to how the umpires.
Now, playing across wing defense and goal defense, and of course your international career mostly at the wing defense position, if someone asks you what court area are you in, where do you go? Say you're a mid-quarterer?
I would
go
say
with the defenders.
I'll still park under mid-court, because we classify wing defense under mid-court. Because you still have that role of also trying to bring the ball down. Yeah.
And we've had all mid-courts in commentary so far this week.
That's true.
Not sure what that says about us. Chatty little bunch we are. And able to convert on that one. Fawiza for Malaysia. Hands over, but deemed obstruction. Shafaz applying pressure for Malaysia. She's straight back into it. Defenders keeping Singapore on one side of the court there. Lee repositioning. Not quite sure whether she was set for a hold in that instance. Was still moving, and perhaps maybe you needed to see her get on perhaps a T hold in that case, as she was so close to the post.
Her angle was slightly flat. I didn't think she was in the right position.
And she's so strong on the hold, so strong in the air. Another one who is strong on the hold and unable to finish the shot as we go into the end of the third quarter. 38-37. Malaysia taking the lead for the first time at a break during this game. It has been such a hotly contested match. Of course, 15 minutes still to go as we look to the highlights reel, seeing the beautiful work of both of the shooting ends. Do you feel like it's been a bit of a shooter's game?
Yes, it is, because I think, the shooters really have to put in the shots to win this game, though.
Netball 101, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So, we try not to put the pressure on them, but technically, they themselves know the pressure is on them to put in the shots, But netball, after all, is an attacking game. Defense does win championships, but I think ultimately, it's still, both teams have a fair chance at center pass, so it's really about taking your chances and trying to score it off.
And no doubt we'll see plenty more brilliance in those attacking ends. We will, of course, be looking at what defensive pressure both sides will seek to put out on court to try and counter these fantastic shooting combinations that we are seeing for both Malaysia and Singapore A. Don't go too far, because we have 15 minutes of absolutely exciting netball here at the Nations Cup. And we're just moments away from the first whistle for the fourth quarter. And untouched, an unusual mistake for Singapore A. A little bit of a coach killer there. Perhaps a few nerves in such a close pressure game. Malaysia, of course, very familiar with pressure games, having played at a number of Nations Cups. They are regulars here.
I think we see a change in the goal defense position for Malaysia. We have Ashwini coming on as goal defense.
Ashwini, and she was great earlier this week.
Oh, yes.
Surprised we are not seeing her enter the game until this last quarter, but perhaps a little bit of load management and a important impact player. Adalia Jasmine, though, of course, good in that goal defense position.
Singapore A little bit rush of blood with their passes, just placing it a little bit too much, or just a little bit of a miscommunication between player and player, whoever has ball in hand and who they're passing it off to. We also see a change in the goalkeeper position with Singapore A. We have Matilda coming on for the first time today.
Another player who's been strong this week. Let's see what she can do, though. That's the third goalkeeper that we're trying against Siti Masira. And Malaysia again with that offline defense. Looking like a beautiful take. Straight back up from Lee. I must admit, I love a goal shooter punch up the middle of the court.
She took that ball really strongly and threw that contact.
Very strong, a long way from the circle though.
Well, we see another change for Singapore A. Nia coming on as centre for the first time in this competition. We usually see her playing that wing defense role.
Yeah. See what impact she can have in this fourth quarter. And Dahlia Jasmine into the wing defense role as well for Malaysia. Circle edge, finding Zulfa under the post. I must admit, one of the things I really like about Zulfa is her movement into the circle. She often enters quite high, but taking the space from the defenders, cutting across the top of the circle, very hard to defend. Can't drop in this case. And they'll take the throw in.
Looks like the Malaysian goal tech has also there's another change in that position. Did they bring in
We can see
Izazrin?
Izazrin taking the court in goal attack. Fawiza has gone to the bench. And we did speak a little bit about perhaps the load sharing between the shooter roles.
She's only 18 years old of age. Wow. Really young player.
Some fresh faces into this Malaysian side. And one more change in the wing attack role. We have Amisha entering the game. So 4 changes for the Malaysian side. Let's see what impact they have on the game. They are 2 goals ahead, making it 1 more here. 42-39.
There's quite a lot of changes for a really tight game in the last quarter.
Absolutely, and 1 more here. Naya going back into her more familiar role of wing defense, which will see Mickey.
Oh no, she's actually moved onto wing attack.
Oh, wing attack, sorry.
Wow. That's interesting.
So Lee through the middle. We'll leave Mickey in wing defense. And see Nayan into the wing attack role, of course playing across all 3 positions. Let's see what she can do, matching up against Adalia. Lots of changes going into this 4th quarter.
Yeah.
I guess hoping to spur some magic to bring home the win.
I won't be surprised if there are more changes coming in the next few minutes.
Rolling fresh legs, injecting a little bit more. Singapore a little bit defeated by that turnover. You can see them just chasing down in defense rather than being up on the body. So important to transition quickly into defense, particularly in a game as close as this.
I also feel like they're taking a little bit long to settle with the changes. I think it's been a slightly disruptive, I would say.
And Malaysia with the ball, obstruction call. They will take the penalty on the circle edge. Siti Masara calling for the ball. She wants ball in hand, demanding possession. And why wouldn't you when you've been so reliable all game? She turns, she shoots. And we're seeing the biggest margin of the day. Naya to the bench.
Well, Priscilla coming on as well attack.
Is that a common position for Priscilla?
I wouldn't say it's common, but it's a position that she has played in her club AUKUS in NSL. So she does slide across wing attack position as well as both the shooting positions, but more commonly in the shooting role actually. But I think with her height at 181
yes,
and playing a wing attack role, I've played against her in the Netball Super League as a wing defense, going up against someone so tall. It's totally different. Yeah.
Yes, we are seeing a little bit of a transition across many clubs opting to go for a tall wing attack, away from the more traditional zippy movements that we'll see in a lot of wing attacks across this tournament. Let's see what Wong can bring to the final 8.5 minutes. The margin is 4. Singapore A will need to reduce this quickly as Amisha drives so strong down to the circle edge, drawing the contact.
Well, it's quite nice timing from Matilda just coming around the body to tip that, but I think umpire just deemed it as a contact still.
Matilda into that goalkeeper role. I've enjoyed the goalkeeper rotations, just constantly giving CT Masai something to think about, something different. Faith also been great driving the ball down in transition, allowing the attacking end to focus on their job. Oh, and a beautiful entry into the circle. Unable to convert, but does the work to get the rebound. Finds Zulfa on the goal line. They're able to finish. The bench, they're up. They're urging their team on. Malaysia with the ball. That long pass in, so effective for them today.
Super nice pass in. It was on point into the space.
That connection they've found today. Unable to use against the Kenya side with their height in defense. But they are utilizing it, of course, in their third game of the Nations Cup. Swing ball, but will reset for the contact. Ashwini out of play. Zulfa swings. Lee opening up a little bit early, but that's okay. She's able to still collect the ball and finish the shot. Shooters for Singapore A both urging their defenders to get the turn here. But we're long. Oh, and doesn't come off this time. Oh, sorry, a contact call, and it does go the way of Malaysia, and they're able to convert. Another contact call. Singapore A with the ball, finding circle edge. Zulfa repositioning, she turns. Strong hands over there, but does not phase her one bit. 6 minutes to go. Prav, what can we expect from this final 6 minutes of this game?
I think Malaysia are just really going to capitalize on their center passes. And then for Singapore A, they're just going to do all they can, scramble just to get a turnover. And there we see it, one turnover there by Janine.
They've come up with it. Janine, so strong for them today. Malaysia putting on their offline defense, but that's okay. Singapore A will look over the top, progressing into their goal third, swinging the ball. Zulfa, composure. The crowd love it. The margin is back to 3. A bit over 5. Oh, we'll reset that centre pass. And we're off again. Again, great control from the umpires, clear with their communication, allowing players to just focus on going about their business, playing some amazing netball. Lee driving along the goal line, but we'll see the contact call on this side of the post. Opting to give Zulfa the shooting position so she can set for rebounds, but they're not needed. She's able to sink another one, creeping that margin ever closer to the difference. 4.5. What can Singapore A do to try and get this win today? The bench are up, but the contact call, Matilda, out of play. We'll see the advance there, I believe, for persistent again.
Yeah, probably late challenge.
And Singapore A with the ball. Both teams able to score quick. Oh, and Ashwini almost coming up with
Good
the
try.
intercept.
She read that really well, though.
Read it really well, able to get down. Beautiful long limbs. But Singapore A just setting the penalty here. Zulfa looking like she wants to pass off. Doesn't even go into her shooting action. Repositions almost into about the same space. She was wanting to connect with Lee and does so beautifully. She's found that space in the goal line, but Malaysia with the rebound. Oh, and they're off, screaming down court.
Yeah, this is the usual fast transition we see from Malaysia.
And they do it so well.
Singapore A really just needs to get back into defense as soon as possible and stop this.
And that hold just so strong. And you're right, that transition both directions so important, but in a game as close as this, we need to see Singapore A getting into defense even quicker. A change coming here.
With Nurdiana, the more experienced goal attack coming back on.
She started this game strong. That's all right, she's up.
And we see a
Maybe
warning.
a little tender.
Warning given to Mickey Ng, the wing defense Singapore A.
Oh, she'll need to be careful after a warning.
I feel like everyone's
collective held their breath around the stadium.
just a lot of body in the circle,
Yes.
as well at the circle edge as well. Oh.
The last 3 minutes, just under. Malaysia making it 5. Naya back on court into the wing defense. Probably a smart decision there from Coach Mi Hong, just wanting to take the attention off Mickey.
Yeah, I think it was necessary. I don't think in this moment you want to play with 6 players.
Not in the dying minutes of a game that's been so close, but with just over 2 minutes to go and a 5-goal lead. Malaysia looking strong, but Zulfa able to bring it back to 4.
Just 2 minutes left in this final quarter.
Malaysia showing composure. They've played the big games before. They've played the close games. They know what to do. Strong drive and release. Singapore A coming up with the ball, but the throw-in call will come.
So that's what I really like about Malaysia. They lost that ball and immediately they went into defense.
Straight into defense. That transition's so important, and it pays off here as they convert another. I think that might be the game for Malaysia. An outstanding first game of netball we've seen on game 3. Fun fact, that's the second Falcon of the tournament.
Was that? When was the
fun
first?
fact I'll be able to keep track of. I should track who it's on. But I digress. A minute left. Malaysia have just crept away here. Such a fast game, a close game we've seen. CT Masara so strong today. 30 seconds to go. 53-46 the way of Malaysia. Oh, and beautiful timing on the drive from Lee. She doesn't like the range though, and will put it into the safe hands of Zulfa. Unable to convert, and we'll see a throw in. 15 seconds. Malaysia, they'll look to get one more, and so efficient in their movements. We'll see that. Last 5 seconds of the game. Oh, is she gonna look long? She is. And they raise their hands in the air. Malaysia, they were chasing a win, and they've been able to get that in round 3 against Singapore A, who put up such a strong effort. Don't go anywhere. We'll have a chance to look at some highlights, and of course we'll hear from a representative from each team as we've done all week. They'll sign the game ball and throw it into the crowds of the waiting fans. We wouldn't mind getting our hands on a game ball either, would we? Now I'm going to put you on the spot. I have a question for you. It's very unofficial. There will, of course, be the tournament MVP, but who was your MVP for the game?
For me, it was CT Maisara, the goal shooter of Malaysia. I think she really helmed that position from the start of the game all the way to the end. And I think in the second half, I actually saw her come out a little bit even more. Like, could see her really changing up in terms of holding front, holding back, securing that goals, being so consistent. Yeah, I think she's really the anchor at the back for them.
A shooter's game today, and so hard to look past the Malaysian goal shooter. She was fantastic. She's had a strong start to the tournament, but absolutely came alive today in their third game. They have secured their win. They have some points on the board. And of course, coming up later today, 5 p.m. local time, we will see Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea taking on Isle of Man. And then 7 p.m. Kenya versus Singapore in a replay of last year's Nations Cup Grand Final. Plenty more action to enjoy down here at the Nations Cup. We will see much more action. We will enjoy the drums, no doubt, for the rest of the evening, as we just await those representatives from each team to come and have a few words about the match. You can see, is that Faith?
Yeah, it's Faith
coming
Lawrence.
down. Faith Lawrence, and we will hand over to our MC for a conversation. Singapore A so strong today, unable to get the win, but an excellent game of netball. As we said, coming up later, we will see Isle of Man taking on Papua New Guinea, Kenya versus Singapore in what's no doubt to be 2 excellent games. We'll go courtside now.
Tiring encounter that. How are you feeling?
Right now, I'm just feeling very tired, but I think my team did really well. We pushed Malaysia all the way to the end. Malaysia, good game, good fight. Yeah, I'm just very tired right now.
It was end-to-end all the way through Q1, Q2, Q3, matching each other, and then Malaysia sort of ran away with it in Q4. How much pride do you take? Because they're a C Games team, you're an A team. There must be a lot of pride for going toe-to-toe with them.
I think being a Singapore A team, we are a development team. We are still learning how to come together. We are a very young team too. I think it's just working on our basics, and for future games, maybe the next one, we are going to work on our basics, come together and see how we can last throughout and give every team we play a good fight. Yeah.
Let's just do a pulse check. Day 3 of action. It's been back-to-back, end-to-end. How's the team feeling, especially heading into day 4 tomorrow?
I think coming into this game, we were very excited. We wanted to give Malaysia a very good fight. Unfortunately, we didn't come out with a win, but it's okay. I think we can learn from our mistakes and move on to the next game and see if we can even get a win from the next one. Our team is going to recover, maybe pool recovery, making sure we eat good, sleep well, the basics for recovery, guys, to come back stronger for the next game.
Final question from me. You talk about coming back strong for the next game. It's your friends, the Singapore Vandals, on court tomorrow at 7 p.m. How fun is that going to be?
It's always a good match with our seniors. I think we always want to push them to the end. If we can come out with a win, it would be great too. But I think just coming together, this is going to be our toughest game because everybody knows how each other play. Just sticking to our basics, making sure we go one ball at a time, one goal at a time, a minute at a time, a quarter at a time, and just making sure we give a good fight to the end. And at the end, we are still Team Singapore.
Fantastic. Faith, one last thing to do. Please sign the match ball for me. All right, and sign that screen. We've got lots of fans over there. Give them a wave. Thank you, Faith. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.